Reformasi Dispatch podcast with Kevin O'Rourke and Erin Cook, coming to you on 11 August. And how we doing, EC?
Pretty good. How are you feeling? I feel like we've got big news, but not unexpected news today from Bank Indonesia.
Yeah, we're going to have to zip right through it because we need to get on to our interview, which was lengthy because it was good. It's well worth a listen. It's with Thinzar Shunlei Yi from Sisters to Sisters. That's a very important human rights NGO that's active in Myanmar. So she told us about her experiences and conditions with her colleagues nowadays.
I've been thinking about it since we chatted to her. She's brilliant. She does such incredible work, but she's across everything. Everything we touched on, she had something really interesting to say, and so historical based as well, with sort of the regional context. I don't know. That's one of my favorite interviews in a long time.
Yeah, sobering though. Very sobering.
Yeah. It is not fun.
Yeah. The realities that people like her are facing are just mind-boggling, but we'll save that for the interview. With regards to Indonesia, there is a new BI governor, basically. There's a sole nominee put forth by the president, and that's Destry. So my take is that this mitigates the disaster marginally. That's how I would put it.
Is it kind of like so she's been the interim governor for, what is it, about 10 days now, since Perry stood down or resigned, or still not clear what really happened
Ousted.
there.
Ousted.
No. Okay, we'll just say ousted.
It's perfect.
So has she been tracking? Has it been looking like it was going to be her?
No, because Mulyoman Haddad was a candidate, and so that would have really exacerbated the damage.
Yep.
The main thing is that the BI is not independent anymore. If it were independent, Harry would still be the governor.
He'd still be there. He'd still be pulling long nights.
He resigned fairly abruptly for no clear reason, and with good press reporting indicating that it was at the behest of Mohammed Heikel, vice chair of the Finance Commission in Parliament, who's with Garindra. So, conveying a message from the palace that there's going to be a regulatory infraction investigation against Perry unless he resigns, and that's the way the new law that passed last month is written. It enables the president to do this. So BI is a entity under the president now, and that has profound implications for policymaking, regardless of who the governor is. Because no governor is going to defy Prabowo anymore,
and the president, I suppose, as well. If and when the presidency changes hands again, this is just the way it is now. Is that fair to say, or is this a Prabowo special?
No, it's a Prabowo special, yeah, because a lot depends on the personality of the president themselves, and also what a responsible government would do in future would be to go back and restore the 2023 version of the P2SK law rather than this one that the administration pushed through last month. So no, it's not an end of independence for all time, but it really sets a horrific precedent. And during the Prabowo tenure, the governor of Bank Indonesia, the central bank, is going to be Prabowo. Destry will hold the position in name, but she's already said that she will be obeying what the president wants. That was her statement when she attended the Financial Stabilization Committee meeting on Monday last. So.
Yeah, which is not what you want to hear from your independent governors. Though I was surprised. I think this might be the first time a woman has gotten a job under Prabowo. That's usually they're just losing them. So
no. Well, there was a Nanak Dayan became head of BGN for 6 weeks. Yeah, she had that for 6 weeks. Yeah. There is the information minister. She was the one who approved Prabowo's.
The big reform minister. There. Yep.
Yeah, she was head of the.
So there's a couple around.
There's a couple around. Yeah.
Never have to wait long for the ladies' toilets at Istana, which is one perk. I suppose.
Underutilized. Yeah. Yes.
So what else have you been watching? Have you been following this the Mount Bromo fire story? This is really scary to me. It's not unusual, of course, to to see fires around Mount Bromo, but the distinct linking of this to the El Nino is really starting to freak me out.
Yeah, things are dry already, and there's multiple provinces that have fire problems right now. And this one has really captured attention because it's right in Bromo, which is
Yeah,
one of the
iconic.
country's most iconic parks. Yeah, so it started off small, but it's not small anymore, huh?
Yeah, that's it. I'm starting to see stories from elsewhere in the region as well, sort of just, you know, get ready, it's coming for us, and the heat wave of the last few years is going to be sort of the precedent for how bad it's gonna be in the next few months, which stresses me
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah, and the
future
president did a good
storms.
thing, which yeah, Prabowo did a good thing, which was he issued instructions to the entire state apparatus to anticipate impacts from the El Nino. And then there was a follow-up meeting by the Minister for Development Planning, Rahmat Pambudi. Um, but I think there needs to be more. The only good thing about an El Nino is that you have advanced warning. You know that it's coming,
Yeah.
so time is on your side. And I think that's getting squandered now because although there is this message from the president and there was this meeting, I don't think that there's enough in terms of resourcing and funding and effort and putting clear lines of authority in place,
Mhm.
type of stuff.
What I've been dying to ask you this actually, what does this mean for food security? Because is this gonna hit the agriculture sector super hard, or is this something that with these sort of safeguards in place should be weathered throughout the season?
No, it's really bad, and it's but has the potential to have to create localized problems as
Yeah.
well. Indonesia has been in a good position with regards to food security for a while now,
Yeah.
but even a good position is no guarantee, and this is going to be such a drastic El Nino that it could really make an impact late this year and early next year, all through the first half of next year, actually. So that's when the failed harvest would likely happen. This is where irrigation comes into play, and that's very important. So, throughout the Widodo era, there was a lot of construction of reservoirs and dams and
Mm,
better irrigation works, especially in Java, anyway. So that'll provide some kind of a buffer. But eastern Indonesia is the area that gets hit really hard, and those populations don't eat rice, and they depend on corn. So there's going to be a need for Indonesia to accept aid and support too, and there was a reluctance when the cyclone hit Sumatra.
yeah, exactly. That's
The dynamic.
yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I've just been thinking about it because uh, if the economic stresses are just getting heavier and heavier, even without this sort of factored into it, that's kind of a stressful second half of this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's going to have cost pressure,
Yeah.
causing food price inflation at a time when people involved in the agricultural and fisheries sectors, because it affects fisheries, are going to have reduced incomes. So it's like a double whammy for them.
Yeah.
Uh, and for the government, it's going to be more pressure to supply subsidies and support, and there's going to be higher fuel subsidies too, because half of Indonesia's diesel consumption comes from plant sources, CPO, and
Yeah.
that's going to be reduced.
Yeah. Oh, good. So it's even worse than I thought. Okay.
Well,
That's
yeah, I remember the one in 1998. Yeah, it
yeah.
was just hot and sunny and blue skies day after day after day. Basically, you have a normally there's a wet season, a dry season, a wet season.
Uh,
In 98, there was
just
a wet season,
relentless.
a dry season, followed by a dry season, followed by the normal dry season before there was finally a wet season.
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
oh, that's
Well, I went to Bali at that time, the northeastern part of Bali there,
oh, yeah.
um, which is normally lush, and it was like a desert. Everything was brown. The
Yeah.
ground, trees, dust everywhere, and people having to walk huge distances for water. So it was gruesome. Yeah.
That's terrible. Oh, grim. Ugh. Alright, what else have you been keeping an eye on?
um, well, there's the amendment to the Constitution, which is probably going to happen now. Finally, Prabowo met with the leaders of the People's Consultative Assembly, the NPR. And my understanding is that they are working now on an amendment to reinstate the state policy guidelines Pepe Haen. It used to be called the Gebe Haen. It's a Suharto era instrument. And this is a Trojan horse, sort of a fairly innocuous kind of thing that marginally empowers the legislature vis-a-vis the executive.
Mm,
Um, why Prabo would want it so much, other than the nostalgia factor of a Suharto era construct, is questionable. So it has to do with the rules to amend the Constitution. It's very difficult to start in a special assembly to begin an amendment
yeah.
process. So using this as a pretext, which is something that's fairly unobjectionable, if you can get this process started, and it helps to pass a two-thirds quorum of the NPR membership, which has to be physically present in order to start. But then once it's underway, it's possible to change any part of the Constitution with a simple majority, which is much easier.
Ooh.
And so that's where there could be changes to the electoral system brought in, ending direct elections for regional heads or maybe even for the president.
Yeah, that's it. That could open it up to anything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of anticipation of demonstrations this month, or specifically
yes.
this
Did
coming
you see
week.
this? Did you see this interesting little thing with the big fences around the shopping malls? I think this was a
Yeah.
big thing last week. This was really weird to me. Okay, so the idea is that all across social media, people had been posting photos of newly erected, brand new erected fencing around malls in a way that it happens all the time, but this is more and everywhere all at once. And that set off this huge conversation that either rioting was imminent or, the shadowy state apparatus had set this up to justify, I don't know, it got very conspiratorial. What, uh, what's going on? So we tend to see protests this time of year anyway. Um, are we looking towards that, or is this sort of a preemptive move by the shopping malls to just get their insurance in order, or what's happened here?
Yeah, I think it's sort of and my guess would be that it's just a herd mentality type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to have a look at all the various people who own shopping malls in Indonesia, you would not see a lot of diversity there. It's kind of all the same kind of person. Yeah,
Yep. A
they
few
kind of
different realities. Yep.
have a lot in common. Yeah, and they talk to each other. And I think that there's been a lot of apprehension, bordering on hysteria, really,
Yeah.
about the prospects for demonstrations and riots. And it's understandable because at this time last year there were really pretty
Huge.
cataclysmic riots. Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you look at the calendar, happened last year. Therefore, like a holiday or like a weather or a sporting event is going to happen, right? Yeah. When in fact, politics is never quite so certain, and I'm not so sure it's going to be so severe this time.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I
me
think it's
neither. Like, apart from that, I haven't seen any sort of like build up towards this. Like, we haven't seen, smaller student groups doing things on campus or anything like that that sort of indicates it's building a bigger
yeah, but
momentum.
on the other hand, you never do
They can't
anyway, though. I mean,
do that
things do
anymore.
come up. But what is usually fairly important is a trigger. And so last year, if you remember, there was the uh, National Day Assembly session in the NPR where the legislators were dancing in their
Yes.
chairs, all dressed in their finery and dripping in jewelry, and laughing and playing and dancing in their seats to the happy songs,
Mhm.
and that would prompted viral videos that made people angry because it was out
Yes.
of keeping with the mood of the country. So that was a trigger, and so this year I think you're going to see an extremely sober National Assembly session where everybody's
That's
got their
it.
game face on. Yeah,
Catchies at most. Yep.
yeah. Pitches at most. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
um, I think we better get on to our interview now.
Excellent. Yeah, it's truly a great one. So enjoy it, everybody. There's also no
This is
dancing in that one. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So and up next, Thinzar Shunlei Yi from Sisters to Sister, the NGO active in Myanmar. Thanks. Catch you next week.
See ya. All right, so we're with Shunlei today from Sisters to Sisters, an advocacy group for from Myanmar. So we're just checking in today about. There's been so much in the last couple of weeks, so we thought now would be a great time to have a chat with you and sort of get an update on where Myanmar is at in the last couple of, I don't know, I suppose months it's been since we've talked about it, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is great. So we appreciate you joining, Shunlei. Thanks.
Thanks for inviting me.
So I think maybe we should start, I suppose, with the big news of the last couple of days with well, I suppose the now president Min Aung Hlaing heading to Bangkok to meet with Thai Prime Minister Anutin, and he's been saying a few things where it's becoming clearer and clearer that Thailand is a bit more open to Myanmar coming back into the ASEAN fold. What do you make of the last few weeks with Anutin's comments and the visit?
The past week, and I would say since sham elections happen in Myanmar, we are witnessing more and more of crimes in Myanmar. And according to the research data, 2025, since the junta announced a sham election, they have escalated airstrikes. So 2025 observed the most airstrike year of all time in Myanmar because since 2021 they've been orchestrating all these violence around the whole country. So in 2025 they have escalated arrest of the dissents, the activists, and they enacted a law called election protection law. Under this law, many of my friends were
Yeah.
arrested, and one of them who clicked a post on social media was sentenced to uh, 60 years,
Oh gosh.
lifetime
Yeah.
sentences. So, like, anything can happen to you. Recently, there were 9 young activists who are like in their 20s, who are not even finishing their university, also sentenced to 30-year in prison as well, including one of our sister that we work closely
Mm.
with in Bago. She was also sentenced 30 years in prison for organizing a workshop against the election. So there are many different things happening in Myanmar, but we are witnessing, or we are also noticing the fact that these crimes, these perpetration, these violations are no longer the headlines anymore. It become normalized, and what is becoming new headline is, oh, Myanmar become presidents. Myanmar has a new government now, and oh, they are visiting Thailand, they are visiting Laos, they're visiting
Mm.
India. So these become, and it is such disheartening for the people of Myanmar who are experiencing daily, escalation of violence. I live in border like closer to Thailand, and we are we are feeling the shaking of ground,
Yeah.
of the airboats, like not far from where I live. So it's like it's a daily struggle. It's like a two parallel world: Thailand and Myanmar, even in the Thai and Myanmar and India, Myanmar and Bangladesh, all of our neighboring country having their own thrive of their own political goals and economic. But Myanmar is sinking in again and again, and then our own Madura becoming a
Mm.
president, and he's being recognized by our neighboring countries is such a pain. It's such a pain in our heart, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Were you, surprised to see Thailand being so welcoming? I know for the last few years, Thailand's been in a interesting position, I suppose we could say, when it comes to dealing with the junta. Were you surprised by how welcoming, Anutin has been, or is it just very, very disappointing?
It's very disappointing. He did the same in last year as well in 2025. They invited Mao, like even way before he became so-called president. They invited him to attend the BIMSTEC meeting, Bay of Bengal meeting. So he was already in Thailand in 2025, and we knew that Thailand would do it at some point.
Mm.
It's about that they are waiting for the right time, but I don't see they are doing it in the right time. So they face oppositions from the people of Myanmar, even their own Thai citizens are opposing them.
Yeah.
The Thai activists, students, 19 students organization, including 16 Thai civil society, and even the opposition party have issued statements, and they organize protests against Myanmar like visit. They felt like even one of the police officer on social media, he posted something like, there is a dark force coming into our country.
Yeah.
They felt like something bad gonna
Yeah.
happen to their country as well because the dark force is coming in. So like there are many different speculation. Also, there are a lot of debates between the Thai citizens, like, oh, Myanmar people are so much. There are so many people already here, so take them back,
Mm.
take them back to their country. Myanmar, like this kind of nationalistic comments are also, and Myanmar people felt, I would say, I myself live in Thailand, felt really vulnerable when I know that the country that we heavily rely on for our accommodation, for our, is rolling out red carpet for our own murderers. And this is like signaling the people of Myanmar that we don't welcome you. We want you to go back. Like you go back and handle your own case with your own murderer, something like this. So this is Thai civil society. I really appreciate them for their solidarity with the people of Myanmar.
Yes, I
Mhm.
saw there was a huge, banner in down one of the main streets of Bangkok
Yeah.
that saying, "Get this murderer out of here," which I thought was a very cool show of solidarity with the people of Myanmar. What do you make of Prime Minister Anutin getting closer and closer, making these odd comments, I suppose, about ASEAN and ASEAN's role and what Myanmar will be doing in the future with ASEAN? I feel like some of the other countries have been a bit more strident, saying, at least
Mm.
pay a bit of attention to the five point consensus. Whereas Thailand's saying, we're
Yeah.
looking towards realignment, and it's time to welcome back. Where do you think that's heading? And how important is ASEAN?
So what we are witnessing is the total collapse of ASEAN's moral and diplomatic credibility, because inviting Myanmar, a murderous dictator, wanted by the international courts for war crimes and genocide against Rohingya, and also laying out red carpet for official state visits with the Garo owner and business forum. It's not pragmatic or calibrated diplomacy. It is outright complicity for me, for us. For 5 years straight, ASEAN hid behind the 5 point consensus. Now the governments like Thailand are even dropping even that. The thing pretends, to rule out the red carpet for the military junta that ban villages, airstrikes, the school, hospital, and execute descendants, daily, almost daily basis. So ASEAN itself is the 5 point consensus. They have to acknowledge the fact that the 5 point consensus is not working out. They are now being played by the military. We know it so well in our history. Military has been playing many different games, and they always get what they want. Especially with the tactic of um, fight cats, like the fight cat strategy. They have done this since the independence time, 1940s, and also they've been playing divide and rule between the ethnic people and the oppressed, and with the leader weapons, they always get what they want, and they will come back with the election, the constitution 2008 constitution was a part of their tools that they use it in 2012. So ASEAN itself, we were even surprised that when they exclude Myanmar, in the ASEAN summit in 2021, we felt like, wow, this is
Oh, yeah,
impossible. But
yeah.
they did it. They took him out of the ASEAN summit. So now he is trying to get back in ASEAN summit. ASEAN summit is happening this year in Philippines, and the Thailand is marketing for him
Mm.
to get him back on the stage, on the stage. So as an official legitimized leader. And I think these business forums in Thailand and also in India as well, all of them, we felt they are telling us that their business deal, the regional border trades, are more important than human life.
Yeah.
Like they are signaling this to very citizen of ASEAN, to the young people of ASEAN, to the people of ASEAN that your life don't matter. We don't care about you. Business first before human's life and human dignity, humanity, or for peace. So this is ASEAN turning 60 very soon. It turned 59 and it's turning 60 years of existence. And we don't, as an ASEAN citizen myself, I felt a waste of a waste of institution
Mm.
if they keep up doing this,
Yeah.
and there is no human security in this
Mm.
region.
With
Oi.
Yeah.
just within ASEAN, are you seeing any differences in the stances among the countries? Are there ASEAN nations that are supporting the Myanmar opposition better?
So not many countries have that clear and principled stance in my opinion. But some nations are better than the others. For example, Malaysia. When Malaysia was the chairman in ASEAN, the Malaysia foreign minister was really supportive of Myanmar struggle. They make sure they broke the records of ASEANs where they met, like amid all of the challenges and limitations, a lot of pressures, don't do this, like we don't do that. This is not how we do things.
Mm.
It's a government, meeting with the rebels.
Yeah.
So in their eyes, we are rebels. We are rebels who are not we are non-state actor, like
Mhm.
so. But Malaysia broke that record, and they met with the resistant forces. They organized different meetings. Even I was like facilitating one of the meetings with the young people, young revolutionaries from different backgrounds with the Malaysia envoy. So and also followed by Indonesia.
Mm.
We see Indonesia and Malaysia set a record in the within the ASEANs, like as the frontline states. But this year in Philippines, we are pushing the Philippines to do better as
Yeah.
well. But we don't see this is coming. Many things
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
Have you been following I don't know too much about this, but Timor-Leste has a case against Min Aung Hlaing. Is that uh is that sort of a bit of a sideshow to what we're seeing with ASEAN? Or like Timor-Leste is probably not too big of a player to be able to do too much just yet within ASEAN, but does that give you and others in the movement a bit of hope for solidarity?
Yeah, definitely. Timor-Leste was also one of the most, prominent
Yeah.
supporter of the revolutions. They have similar
Yeah.
history, of the struggle for democracy in their own country, as they've been standing in solidarity with Myanmar resistance since a long
Mm.
time. So like yesterday, 8 August, marked like 39 year of the 88
Ah, of course. Yep.
revolution, the uprisings. 8th of August in 1988, in Myanmar. So Myanmar, these generations of our seniors activists, they have a strong and clear memory of Timor-Leste, the president and the people struggle, standing together with the Myanmar since then. So Timor-Leste definitely on top of the list, like standing solidarity. But the issue is Timor-Leste joined ASEAN's only
So new.
later
Yeah.
and small. Yeah, they have also their own issues, and we hope country like this can lead, or set an example
Mm.
for the region.
Can I just ask on the 88 generation, I've read a few really interesting things in the last few weeks that have been discussing younger Myanmar activists are getting a bit frustrated, I suppose, because these older generations are still so dominant in leading the resistance. Is there a split between young Myanmar and older Myanmar, or is it just a matter of goals not or tactics not aligning? How would you typify the difference between the generations?
There is always a generational divides and gaps,
Yeah.
like in most of the other countries. So the way we do things, the way we think, the way we look forward to are also different. But 2021's Spring Revolutions was like unprecedented to me in my eyes, because I was a youth advocate for a long time, a youth activist for a long time, and I've been really outspoken against like older generations and the way they do things, especially the political system in the country. I was totally frustrated with, like, but 2021 has set a record in Myanmar as well in terms of generational unity, like, because the revolution came out as intergenerational, and the young generations kind of acknowledge the fact that, like, 2021 revolution could persist because of the previous resistance.
Mm.
So we learn from each other, from the previous generation and the younger generations. And still, the way we do things have different, like, nuances, of course, based on our experiences, the young people. But I can't resist to mention the fact that young people, despite the large number and the bigger populations, we are 60% in the
Wow.
country,
Yeah.
despite the fact that with the young people are not in the decision making
Mm.
position. Not. They are stay on the front line in kill,
Yep. Yeah.
Speaking of the older generation, how important is Aung San Suu Kyi? I noticed that she came out, or she was brought out for the first time in 2.5 years.
Yeah, so Daw San Suu Kyi remains a big figure in Myanmar, especially to the older generations, the generation that grew up together with her, with her legacy, with her, especially the generations that I would say look up her for her leadership in the fights, especially in her political party, National League for Democracy, and her political party members. Um, so she's still recognized as one of the state counselor,
Mm.
a state counselor of the nation. She stay in the position. Even in the position, she's being appointed as a state counselor of the nation by the National Unity Government. So this is
Yeah.
how she is. So recently, she appeared on photos released by the junta generals that um, there is a big campaign going on, Proof for Life, by her son, Kim Eric. And then because of the campaign and all of these pressure coming up, they released a photo, of her meeting with the ICRC officials. And so many people were relieved to see her. She
Mm.
stayed alive. There were a lot of speculation that she might already pass. She's already 80,
Mm.
Yeah.
So there's pressure for the junta to release her and give her full freedom. Is there any prospect of that actually happening?
Um, Even if there are prediction, even if there are speculations, I like to mention the fact that it's not within our control, because she's in custody of military. So military play the game, and she's the player. She's how to say, uh, uh one of the card that they hold,
Mm.
to play the political game. So just like 2008 constitution they drafted, is one of the tools for them to keep them remain in
Yeah.
power. So they may release her or they may not release her. It's up to them.
Mm.
And nothing, I feel like nothing can pressure them. Like for till today, the people of Myanmar rising up against them. Also, how they reacted to it is different from how other different countries government will react. Right, it's different. They are brutal.
Mm.
They are brutal. They are brutal enough that people have to pick up the gun and form their own
Yeah.
armies.
Yeah.
In India, in India there was a protest, right? Many young people, cockroach party and so on, and then the government have to take action. Take action. They don't just kill people
Mm.
blatantly. But in Myanmar, it's different story. They will just kill. So they can do anything they want. This is a power they hold, and with a lot of impunity, no consequences for a long time. So I think they are immune to so many things, and yeah. So we don't know.
Mm.
Nobody knows.
What I think at the very start of 2021, when the coup first occurred, and then sort of throughout that year, one of the things I found most amazing was exactly what you just said. Young people picking up weapons and then either within their own state or leaving the cities and then going out elsewhere to organize the People's Defense Forces and other sorts of groups. How we're a few years on now, we're 5 years on from that. How effective are these groups still as operators? Are they managing to, I don't know, gain ground after the sort of 1027 and other big moves like that?
So when students, when doctors, when nurses, when teachers pick the guns, everybody can just easily acknowledge the fact that, oh, it's gonna be a really rough part.
Yeah.
They're like, because they were not properly trained
Mm.
and they don't have where are the resources for the guns, for the weapons, for the like there are a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of challenges that they might face. And yeah, that's true. That's utterly true. And and I have many friends who turn themselves into soldiers, from being a doctor or from being a teachers. They also share the same challenges. That could be lifelong.
Mm.
You could die. You could die not even killing the soldiers, a military junta, but you could die even making your own bones. You know, you could die making your own, preparing yourself to the battleground. So, despite all of these possibilities, they still choose to pick the gun. They still choose to join the armed forces. They still choose to fight until now. There is a lot of inequality in injustices they felt that forced them, pushed them to take the extreme choices
Mm.
of their life. And it's really hard. It's still a bit challenging, challenging in Myanmar. And despite all of the challenges, now different military experts are saying Myanmar resistance is stagnated. Myanmar resistance now cannot further. And I feel like, wow, even without any support from any of our neighboring countries, the resistant forces make it stagnated
Yeah.
with the junta forces that is like one of the top in the Asia, army. That says something.
Mm.
Mm.
That says something. The military experts are saying, oh, the resistant forces only capture like 70 township. I mean, only capture. That says something. I mean, there's a lot of dedication, a lot of uh, resources that pulling into this resistance without proper support from any government, without proper support from any military, of the world. I take it as a positive. I take it, wow, this is a victory.
Mm.
Yeah, this is like a new things happening. So Myanmar has different army since independent time. So the first thing we need to know is Myanmar has many army, not just one military,
Mhm.
you know. And Myanmar military portray themselves as the only state army, but they are not. There are many different army that are recognized by the people of themselves in different territories. So there are many army in Myanmar, and military is not the only one. And they are trying to defend their
Mm.
territories.
It seems like a big advantage. Yeah, sorry. It seems like a big advantage that the junta has is air power, but maintaining and
Yes.
supplying an air force is not easy. It's expensive. Uh, where is the junta getting its support for its air force, its supplies and munitions and so on?
I think that was never the challenge for them.
Mm.
Definitely is a bit surprised, but they've been wasting so many bombs, so many fighter jets, fighter fuels. They are around every 7 airstrikes every day
Right.
Yeah.
using the big fighter jets, using the helicopter,
Mm.
using the they call it there are different like drones as well coming in,
Yeah.
so they've been spending so much building up all of this, buying all of this. But when the people are
Mm.
drowning because of the flood, they won't send a
Mm.
helicopter to pick up the people.
Mm.
They won't even send a helicopter to pick up their own soldier who are trapped in the war zone.
Mm.
This is how they've been. They've been telling people that your life don't matter at all. They would just send like fighter jets and then bomb everywhere, and just like it's like yeah, and then people they have no place to go. So what they have to do is they hide, they dig up their own grave, they dig their own hiding spots, and then they will make out alive. If they make out alive, they will thrive, they will live again until another bone comes in. So this is a daily life since 2021, and they use more and more
Yeah.
airstrikes in Myanmar. So they got most of the supplies from Russia
Mm.
for sure. It's not only now; they always get supply from Russia, and they get their soldiers trained in Russia,
Mm.
and then China closer, and they even get fuel from India.
Yeah.
India also is supporting some weapons. So there is an M deal between, and the India also train the navies in Myanmar. So they don't have to worry about it. Now Thailand joined in. Thailand is organizing business forum for the junta. So they don't have to worry about anything. The neighborings are also backing up these military regimes to grow and to make sure they are okay. Their economic, uh, the scam center is
Mm.
there. The China is trying to crack it down. But these scam centers are heavily linked to military,
Yeah, so
Mm.
is that
but they
a
won't
source
dig
of
it.
revenue for them to get is that where the military is getting a lot of money from, or is it a sort of a more of a criminal enterprise than a money-making one?
So yeah, it's a joint venture between the military and their peppers are militias.
Yeah, yeah.
There are many different militias that they turn them into. So the militias mostly formed by their veterans from the military or their family members or who believe in their military ideologies
Mm.
or religions, race. These extreme nationalists. So these militia are like taking control of all of these scam center in Karen state, and now they're moving to Shan state. Yeah, so they are all linked into this, and military also have got a lot of money from conscription as
Mm.
well. So from the conscription, the people who don't wanna be conscripted, they have to pay taxes.
Oh,
So they collect people money from the taxes. So but still, like, they conscript 5,000 a month. So
A lot of
you
people.
don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that your daughter or your sons could be conscripted. So you make sure that by paying taxes to the administrator, you just wish that maybe their names will not be
Yeah.
there,
mm.
but you will never know.
And
Wow.
uh, how about the position of the U.S.? And in the past, the U.S. has been a supporter of human rights, but under the Trump administration, um, I think refugee status for Myanmar citizens is no longer possible in the
Mm.
U.S. And, um, is there a lapse? Is there a lack of attention from the U.S. to Myanmar now?
Yeah, definitely. Since Trump got in the positions, we were totally abandoned. I mean, the Myanmar people, the whole country is abandoned. It's not just resistance, also the junta is also
Yeah.
abandoned.
No.
I think the whole region's abandoned.
Yeah.
The whole region, the whole Southeast Asia abandoned, because now before us, the U.S. State Secretary was visiting Thailand, and I got to meet with Secretary Blinken, and I could be able to like talk to him directly about Myanmar issue. At least they couldn't do much, in the pressure of Ukraine war happening. But then they show up, they
Mm.
care. But the 5 point consensus, we have a lot of disagreement that I don't think this is going to be going well, because 5 point consensus, even though that look good in nature, but there is no
Yeah.
consequences
Mm.
of the consensus. So nobody can do anything if Honda don't follow through. So there is no procedure, there is no time bound, there is no timeline. So the Honda can like yeah, can just do whatever they want in whatever timeline they want, and they still get
Yeah.
support. They still get like some benefit out of it. They get time for it. So US um, yeah, after pulling out all the US EID money, Myanmar people, especially those in borders who are heavily relying on the foreign aids for medical aids, education, suffer a lot. And also including human rights defenders, who are relying on the safe houses, the support system of the human rights actions also impact a lot.
Um,
Um, so I would say now we don't hear anything from the Trump administration, but the only thing that we are told is he is interested in the rare art in Kachinsi in the northern part, and which is also a territory of China. It's next to China, so this is the only thing we get heard of from the U.S. But apart from that, no connection, no interaction with the human rights group
it's
from the U.S.
the
government.
rare earth minerals is the one thing that they're showing attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rare earth minerals
Yeah.
are they coming out through? Are they being developed and exported by somebody? Rare earth minerals right now, or if so, who is that benefiting?
Yeah. So rare earth is in the Kachin state. There are also reports by the Kachin civil society regarding this. There's a lot of environmental exploitation and liver exploitation in the area, and that rare earth mining places are now currently controlled by the resistant forces. So that is the only chance we hope, like at least the U.S. government will be interested in talking and supporting the resistant forces, because these mining areas are now controlled by the resistant forces. But then again, the resistance forces heavily rely on the China borders because they live next to China. So China is also playing two games, right? They're not just talking and supporting the military. They are also supporting some of the resistance forces as well, but not in the scale of the military. So these resistant forces are in the middle. So we are hoping some of the local governance issue can be supported through the U.S. money, or the local civil society can grow out of it. So there are definitely, I think, if U.S. don't come in sooner, strategically, China will definitely get it, and they are the neighbors.
Mhm. Oh, that's before we let you go, can I ask one last question about the national unity government? So, from as an outsider,
Mhm.
it seems very much like its influence has waned a lot since it was essentially the people's government since 2021. Is this still an organizational and diplomatic force, or is it more about people's power going ahead now?
So NUG was established out of the revolutions, out of the people power. So when we call a revolutionary government, it kind of have a limit, kind of have a limit that you can go past.
Mm.
So now I think they have reached its limit after 5 years of relentless,
Oh
like
yeah, hard work.
fighting, struggle, and continuous mobilize hard work. Yeah, it has reached its potential. It has reached its and then also another reality on ground is Myanmar is now breaking through, like out of all our records, because now we decided we're gonna grow up as a federal government, a federal nation. So we no longer work alongside with the 2008 constitution that's drafted by the military. It was not federalistic. So we're now establishing our own federal units on the ground, where the community organizations, where the people power assets, a ground up establishment of it. And then these government will come up together, form a federal union. So that's our ideal positions. And NUG was formed temporarily as an interim body to hold the space, to hold the power against the military legitimacy competition. So when we reach to the point where we can reform NUG, the NUG will be dismantled. NUG will be how to say dismissed, and it will eventually evolve into a new government, a federal government with the federal unit. So this is within the process, is in the process now. They have reformed themselves into a structure called SCES, Steering Council for Emerging Federal Units. So that council is no longer just one NUG as the main entity of the nation, it has included different ethnic revolutionary groups who are the main de, de facto governments on the ground since independence time. So they integrated themselves with the different EROs, forming as a SCEF. So SCEF is a new structure that we've been looking forward to. We hope SCEF will be more integrated of more federal units on the
Mm.
ground. Yeah.
Well, I just want to ask also about your perspective on Indonesia, and are you noticing ties between the junta and Indonesia? Maybe through the finance, sorry, not the foreign minister, Sugiono, or through the military, or through business figures, perhaps. I think there's a special sort of a special relationship between the two militaries. I know that in the Suharto period, the Myanmar military tried to study the Suharto uh, system of government, and now junta is using techniques that Suharto used, like military representation in parliament and elections where opposition parties are excluded, and things like that. So, have you noticed much in terms of closer engagement with Indonesia and the junta?
We don't see the like significant events or incidents that happened between Indonesia government and the Myanmar military or so on. Now our focus is on Philippines, as an ASEAN chair, but Indonesia definitely did their best. We would say in their leadership and chairman as the ASEANs,
Mm.
the Indonesia envoy, there were civil society conferences and they were listening to the people. But then again, they still remain crucial in Myanmar's issue because they are a part of the tripartite model where the past leader and the current leader and the future leader will be together
Mm.
to solve the issues in Myanmar. So Indonesia play a crucial
Mm.
role, and also when from the resistance side of point of view, Indonesia is such a diverse nation with a lot of ethnicity, languages, and different cultures. And if Indonesia can do it, like until to this point, a democratic structure where military is no longer a part of the politics, like if Indonesia can do it, we can do it. Like we don't draw lessons from so far away. We can There are a lot to learn from the region as
Mm.
well and our neighboring. So our focus right now is people to people connections where activists, the young people, the students, the farmers, worker, women, talk to each other in the regions where we share our struggle, where we share our aspiration for our collective region. How Because all of our destiny, I think, feel connected. If Myanmar become a democratic federal nation, but then if Thailand is becoming a dictatorship country, then we will have challenges as well. So I want ASEAN citizens see this point that we are all connected in this struggle. So what happened in Myanmar truly matter into the other nation as well. So also in Indonesia,
Yeah.
the Rohingya population also having a lot of struggle
Yeah,
in Malaysia right
Mm.
now.
yeah. Thank you for
Right.
bringing that up. That was the other thing I wanted to bring up before we let you go is the status of the Rohingya. What what uh, what is new on that front? I know that there was a terrible tragedy at sea where 500 Rohingya people have gone missing,
Enormous.
and that Malaysia has sent back Rohingya groups to Myanmar. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, I would say there are many different ethnic related causes in Myanmar, right? The Kachin, Karen, Chin, all of that, and also Rohingya. But all of these, where I see a Rohingya cause is one of the most strongest and the most resilient, to be honest. They are the most oppressed as well. But Rohingya population and the cost has make sure that they bring the case to the ICC, ICJ, universal jurisdiction. Because of them, because of their advocacy, now Miao Lai is named in the
Yeah.
ICC, ICJ, and universal jurisdiction.
Mm,
Yeah, so we really appreciate the Rohingya people, their resilience. Despite all of this, but Rohingya people are still the most persecuted in Myanmar. I think the government forget about it all the time. Now it's already 9 year. This August 25th will mark 9 year of the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar, and the genocide was there since the very beginning. It's ongoing. Now it's even more complicated because the Oregon state is now kind of under the rule of the resistance force, Oregon Army, and the military is there too. And Rohingya people, they don't feel safe under the resistance force as well, because the Oregon people, they've been having a um historically they've been fighting, they've been in struggle, communal violence between these ethnicity as well. And the military is taking advantage of all of it. They don't want both of them. They don't want the resistance forces, they don't want the Rohingya. And also the Rohingya people who are fleeing out of the country, they don't take any responsibility as well of them. In Malaysia, when the deportations happening, and then they don't say anything,
Mm.
about the Rohingya people who are. And if they are deported, that would be like a death sentence as
Yeah.
well, because they are the ones who kill them first,
Yeah.
who torture them first. So that's a death sentence. So we were shocked to see that development, and we see the need for people-to-people solidarity efforts between, through the use of media, through the use of civil society. We need to raise awareness about Rohingya population situation in Myanmar as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish Indonesia could do more, and I merit that too, of course.
Everybody needs to do more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a comment on the status of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you so much for making time for us and giving us such a thorough update. I think it's so many moving parts, and I have so much endless respect for you and other activists and advocates who manage to stay on top of so much all at once. I think it's a real shame that you have to, but a real testament to yourself that you do. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, I think that's really well put.
Thank you for
It's really well put, Erin. So I echo that.
All right, well, we'll let you get on with the rest
Thank
of
you
your
for your
afternoon
time.
then.
Same to you.
And that's the pod. Our editor is Stephen Hendogo. Music by Blue Dot Sessions. To get a free trial of Kevin's newsletter, head to reformasi.info and check my newsletter, Diary Mullet Care Mullet, at diarymullet.substack.com. I'm Erin Cook. We'll see you next week.